They didn't just attack him, they humiliated him. They took his championship. They walked out of the building with it. And the most infuriating part? WWE management protected the man who helped do it. Let that sink in. The undisputed WWE champion, the man who finished the story, the man who carried this company on his back through injury, through doubt, through everything, got beaten down again, this time with a suit-wearing ESPN talking head holding his belt over his unconscious body like a trophy. And nobody stopped it. Nobody could stop it. Because Nick Aldis looked Cody Rhodes dead in the eyes before the show even started and said, "You cannot touch Pat McAfee." What kind of world are we living in? The champion can't defend himself. The champion's best friend got dragged across the entrance ramp like a ragdoll. And Randy Orton and Pat McAfee drove off into the night with the undisputed WWE title sitting in the back of a truck like it was nothing. If you are not fuming right now, you haven't been paying attention. And if you think this story is over, think again. Because what happened on Smackdown on April 10, 2026 was not just a beatdown, it was a declaration of war. 1 week before WrestleMania 42. Stick with me, because we are breaking down every single detail of what went down and why it changes everything heading into Las Vegas. Segment 1, setting the stage, the arrival. Let's rewind this thing all the way back to the beginning of SmackDown this past Friday at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. The show hasn't even gotten going yet. The crowd is still buzzing from the insanity of the previous week when Pat McAfee revealed himself as Randy Orton's mystery caller and jumped Cody Rhodes in the ring, and right out of the gate, we see Cody Rhodes walking into the arena. He's got that fire in his eyes. You know the look. The look that says he is done playing nice, done playing by the rules, done being the bigger man. He wants blood. He wants Pat McAfee. But before he can even take 2 steps into the building, SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis cuts him off. And here is where it gets absolutely maddening. Aldis, a man who is supposed to protect the locker room, supposed to protect the champion, looks Cody dead in the face and delivers the most gut punch line of the night: "You cannot put your hands on Pat McAfee." Full stop. No context. No apology. Strict orders that the champion cannot defend himself against the man who attacked him the week before. Rhodes is fuming. You can see it. His jaw is tight, his fists are clenched, and he is fighting every single instinct in his body to not explode right there in that hallway. And then Jelly Roll shows up. Now look, Jelly Roll is not a wrestler. He is a Grammy Award-winning artist, one of the most authentic human beings in the entertainment industry, and a man who has genuinely become part of the WWE family over the past several months. He got RKO'd by Randy Orton 2 weeks ago for doing nothing more than trying to be a peacemaker, trying to appeal to Orton's conscience, trying to remind him of the bond he and Cody once shared. And now Jelly is walking through that same door, looking for answers. He asks Aldis where Pat McAfee is. Aldis gives him the same speech: "Stay out of it, don't get involved." And Jelly Roll, in a moment of stunning clarity, looks at Cody and says something that cuts right to the heart of this entire feud. He tells Rhodes that he knows this isn't really about Pat McAfee. This is about Randy Orton. This is about 20 years of history. 20 years of brotherhood, of betrayal, of moments that can never be taken back. And then he walks away. And in that moment, Cody Rhodes is left standing alone in that hallway with all of it weighing on him: the title, the feud, the friendship, WrestleMania 1 week away. Segment 2, Pat McAfee arrives and chaos erupts backstage. Fast forward a little bit, and now Pat McAfee arrives at the SAP Center. And the audacity of this man, you have to talk about it. He strolls in like he owns the place. Like he is the star of the show. Like he is the reason people bought tickets. He has the energy of a man who genuinely believes the narrative he's been selling, that WWE is broken, that Cody is fake, and that Randy Orton is the chosen one who is going to save professional wrestling. The delusion is spectacular. But before McAfee can get very far, Jelly Roll cuts him off backstage. And this confrontation is electric. Jelly Roll gets right in Pat's face and asks him the question everyone wants answered: "Did you tell Randy Orton to RKO me?" Now, McAfee's response is almost comedic in how tone-deaf it is. He basically admits it, saying he told Orton to hit everyone, but he didn't think Jelly Roll would be out there. As if that makes it okay. As if that is any kind of justification for dropping a Grammy-winning artist with a Viper strike in the middle of a SmackDown broadcast. Jelly Roll is not having it. He gets louder. He gets angrier. He grabs Pat McAfee, and that is when Nick Aldis has to physically step in and separate them. Jelly Roll turns on Aldis, telling him to get his hands off him. And McAfee? McAfee has the absolute nerve to turn around, call Nick Aldis, who is doing his job trying to keep the peace, the foreign Adam Pearce, and smugly announces that he has to go save the business with Randy Orton. And off he struts. No consequences. No repercussions. Protected by the system. If you're not angry yet, what is it going to take? Segment 3, McAfee cuts his promo in the ring, the point of no return. So Pat McAfee makes his way out to the ring. And this is where things get deeply personal. The crowd is not happy to see him. The boos are rattling the SAP Center walls. But McAfee doesn't care. In fact, he feeds on it. He launches into this whole monologue about how he is trying to bring change to WWE. He talks about rising ticket prices. He announces some deal with Ram Trucks to supposedly help fans afford WrestleMania tickets, which, by the way, is the most condescending thing I have ever heard, using real-world fan financial struggles as a prop in a wrestling angle. He heaps praise on Randy Orton, calling him the only real reason to watch WrestleMania, predicting Orton will win his 15th world title in Las Vegas. And then Cody Rhodes' music hits, and the place erupts. Rhodes comes down that ramp with every single ounce of composure he has left because he has been ordered not to touch McAfee, and he is doing his absolute best to respect that. He gets in the ring, he faces McAfee, and he says something that the entire WWE universe has been wanting to say for weeks now. He tells McAfee that throughout the centuries that professional wrestling has existed, fans have never agreed on anything until right now. Because right now, every single wrestling fan on the planet agrees they want Randy Orton at WrestleMania, and they do not want to see Pat McAfee. He drops the mic on that note and simply says, "Go home, Pat." The crowd loses their mind. But McAfee doesn't go home, because McAfee says, "I am home." And this is where it becomes genuinely ugly. He starts attacking Cody personally. He calls him a cosplay champion. He takes shots at his appearance, his spray tan, his dyed hair. He brings up the silver spoon narrative, calling Rhodes the Gorilla's golden boy, a disgusting reference to the legendary Dusty Rhodes. He attacks Cody's teeth, his lisp, his suits. He tells him he cosplays as a champion. And then he delivers the most personally vicious line of the whole thing. He says he has a message for Cody and his inbred family. He says if Randy Orton does not walk out of WrestleMania as a 15-time world champion, Pat McAfee will never be seen or heard from in this business again. That is the bet McAfee is placing his entire career in professional wrestling on the line if Orton loses. That is either the most confident man alive or a man who has been promised something behind closed doors that none of us know about yet. Segment 4: Orton appears on the screen. The trap is sprung. Now here is where the chess game truly begins. Because just as things are reaching a boiling point between Rhodes and McAfee in the ring, just as Rhodes is teetering on the edge of throwing everything away and laying McAfee out despite Aldis's orders, the arena screen lights up. And there is Randy Orton, backstage, standing over Jelly Roll. He had gone around. While everyone was focused on McAfee in that ring, while all eyes were on the confrontation between the champion and the broadcaster, Orton had slipped backstage. He had found Jelly Roll, and he had taken him out. And now he is dragging Jelly Roll's body toward the entrance ramp, using the man who tried to bring peace as a weapon, as bait. Because Orton knows Cody. He knows that Cody Rhodes will always choose the people he loves over his own safety. That is who Cody is. That is why the WWE Universe loves him, and that is exactly why Orton is using it against him. Rhodes bolts from the ring. He is screaming at McAfee from the stage, trying to get to Jelly Roll, trying to protect his friend. And that is the exact moment that Randy Orton, the cold, calculating, ruthless Viper, strikes from behind. Segment 5: The Brutal Beatdown. The title is taken. What follows is one of the most viscerally infuriating segments SmackDown has produced in recent memory. Orton and McAfee, now working together in perfect unison, absolutely dismantle Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll. It is not a fair fight. It was never meant to be. It was an ambush, a coordinated attack, designed and executed to send the loudest possible message 1 week before WrestleMania. Rhodes fights back. Of course he does, because Cody Rhodes never stops fighting. He gets his hands on Orton and rocks him with a lariat that sends the Viper down. The crowd is going insane. For just a second, you think Cody might actually turn the tide. But McAfee hits a cheap shot from behind. And that's all Orton needs. He recovers. He sets up the draping DDT from the ropes, that iconic, devastating move, and he drives Rhodes' skull into the canvas with everything he has. Rhodes is down. And now McAfee does the unthinkable. He picks up the Undisputed WWE Championship Cody Rhodes title and he hands it to Randy Orton. And Orton, without a single shred of hesitation or remorse, raises the title above his head and brings it crashing down across Rhodes' forehead. The champion is out cold. Blood may as well be in the air. The crowd is in stunned silence. Jelly Roll, who tried to get back involved, who got up on the ring apron trying to help his friend, has already been disposed of. McAfee then kicks Rhodes one final time. One last gratuitous, petty, unnecessary kick. And then he picks up the Undisputed WWE Championship, the most prestigious title in professional wrestling, and he walks out of the building with it. He and Orton get into Pat's truck backstage and they leave the arena with the belt. Message sent. Loud and clear. The champion has been destroyed. His title has been stolen. And WrestleMania is 7 days away. Segment 6: What this all means. The bigger picture. Now let's talk about the layers here, because there is so much more going on beneath the surface of this story. This isn't just about a heel turn and a championship program. This feud is soaked in real history, real emotion, and real stakes that make it unlike anything WWE has produced in years. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes go back 20 years. As Jelly Roll himself said backstage, that is what this is really about. These two men have been intertwined since the days of Evolution, since the Legacy stable, since Rhodes was still trying to step out of his father's shadow and Orton was already a multi-time world champion. Orton has always been presented as the measuring stick, the yard by which greatness in WWE is judged. And for decades, Cody Rhodes chased that standard, left WWE entirely when he felt he couldn't reach it, rebuilt himself from the ground up in every independent and competing promotion on the planet, and then came back to finally finish the story, to climb all the way to the top, to win the Undisputed Championship that his father never held. And now Randy Orton is trying to take it from him. Not just the belt, the legacy, the narrative, the ending of the story. And Pat McAfee is the accelerant. McAfee came in as the voice of a certain type of wrestling fan, the fan who is tired of modern WWE, who longs for the ruthless, unpredictable, dangerous version of the product that Orton represented in his prime. There is a genuine audience for that sentiment. McAfee is giving it a face and a microphone. And the fact that his involvement has reportedly been backed by Ari Emanuel, the TKO boss, adds a real-world corporate intrigue to this angle that makes it feel even more sinister. This isn't just a wrestling storyline. There are real politics, real power plays, happening behind the curtain. And the plan for Backlash? Oh, we need to talk about this. Reports from the Wrestling Observer newsletter have confirmed that WWE is planning a tag team match at Backlash on May 9th in Tampa, Florida. Cody Rhodes and Jelly Roll vs. Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. Let that sink in. Jelly Roll, the tattooed, country rap icon from Nashville, a man who has spoken openly about addiction, recovery, and using his platform for good, is going to get his hands on Randy Orton in a WWE ring. The man who hit him with an RKO. The man who used him as a pawn. The crowd at the Benchmark International Arena in Tampa is going to be unglued for that moment. But before any of that, before Backlash, before any revenge can be had, there is WrestleMania 42. Night 1. Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. April 18th, Randy Orton vs. Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed WWE Championship. And after what happened on Smackdown this week, after watching the champion get laid out with his own title and watching the title driven off in the back of Pat McAfee's truck, after hearing McAfee put his entire WWE career on the line, betting everything on Orton winning, the question is no longer, will this match be great? The question is, how does Cody Rhodes come back from this? Closing the challenge to the audience. Here is what I want you to think about. And I want you to drop your answer in the comments right now, because I genuinely want to know where this community stands. Does Pat McAfee's involvement help or hurt this WrestleMania main event? Because there are two schools of thought. There are fans who believe McAfee brings mainstream attention, electricity, and unpredictability to an already great feud. And there are fans, a lot of fans based on the reaction online, who feel that McAfee's presence cheapens what should be a pure, personal, emotionally raw match between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Two men, 20 years, one title, no distractions. Which side are you on? Drop it in the comments. Fight it out down there. That is what this community is for. And here's the second question, and this one is going to divide you even more. After seeing McAfee bet his entire WWE career on Orton winning at WrestleMania, do you think there is any chance he actually wins? Because WWE does not put a bet like that on the table without a plan. They do not let a broadcaster walk out of an arena with the Undisputed Championship 1 week before WrestleMania without having thought about where that story goes. Is there something we are not seeing yet? Is there a swerve coming? Is Cody Rhodes about to have the worst week of his professional life heading into the biggest show of the year? Or does the American Nightmare rise one more time, prove every single doubter and every single talking head wrong, and walk out of Allegiant Stadium still your undisputed WWE champion? I know what I believe, but I want to hear from you.